Oh mate, here we go. This is something I definitely should have done before I actually got on stage. I should have got prepared. The backstory behind like me and Anise is a super fun one because like a couple of months ago I came here to Spoken Word London and saw Anise read a piece that got me talking about basically like the nature of discussion in poetry nights and how there's not much of a space for it. Like usually you have your open mic nights where everyone comes on, you get your clap and you leave, or you have feature nights where it's just the features and nobody else kind of like has a say. And so I wanted to create a space where there could be poetry and discussion, and that was what happened at the Pad. The Pad is the creative art space out in Dagenham that I run. We do like all kind of cultural events, we have a workspace upstairs, all that kind of good jazz. But I'm super happy that between poetry and the Pad, and between this night, there's already 2 nights that combine poetry and discussion. And that's the spiel, that's the Pad spiel. And to start off my set, I always carry this around with me now, because I think it's just a brilliant artifact of our times. This is the London Evening Standard from Tuesday the 13th of September, with the headline, "Police do target black people on the streets."
Really?
Revelation! Revelation. Yeah, apparently there was a study done recently. So that's good to know.
You know, the police didn't tell them?
I'm not sure to be honest. It caught my eye, and then I just have to carry it around forever to just show to anybody who, like, you know, anyway.
In case you get stopped.
Oh, indeed. And so, talking about the role of the artist, the reason, so basically, I'm going to start with an introductory piece that I wrote very recently that's effectively for the poets, and it's just called For the Poets, and I'm super proud of it, so I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully this will set the mood. This is for the poets. This is for those fleeting moment capturers that enrapture us. This is for the rhyme flingers and word slingers, for pens and microphones gripped between fingers, for the barrier breakers who showed everyone and anyone it could be done, for the public communicators of private struggles, for lives reborn from rubble, poets writing their way out of trouble, for every poem written that aids a resurrection or sparks an insurrection, for every witty epithet doubling as reactionary couplet, and for every poet that's been surprised by what they created, for poets who make this look uncomplicated, for every secret journal kept hidden, every instrumental or internal beat ridden, for every writer reaching for knowledge forgotten or forbidden, on every stage and page graced with a verse that needed to be written, for every seasoned sage or first timer faced with whatever it means to be a writer, for every fabled poet telling fables, for every identity shunning easy labels, for poetry in every language under Babel, for the poets who like to keep themselves stable, for the poets everywhere and the poetry that got them there. You know it, I know it, respect the poets. Vibing. This second piece is a far longer introductory piece, but this is it's the classic one of, if you were a writer talking to yourself, what would your older self say? It's the kind of conversation that I would have with myself if I could talk to myself. That made more sense in my head. But yeah, thank you, I enjoyed that. So this is called At Nights. And yeah, it's called At Nights. Whoa. At night he fights with failing lights, with sight adjusted for him to write, staring down at the desk and clenching his right, on a quest getting stressed with his wannabe a barred life, hard life, family life, street life, social life, work life, love life. It's a lifetime of deadlines. And it was hard in the beginning, slamming fingertips across keyboards and dimly lit library. Same one of massive parties when it went nasty. He went down backwards, ankle twisted, embarrassed face. Serves a reminder of his alcoholic disgrace. And this internal distracted mumbling made it difficult to create, so he began to wait and wait and wait. And after some time recalling this harrowing historic vision, he stopped his self-deprecation and self-flagellating dissing. Wonder why he couldn't refer to himself positively. Why he's afraid of his natural balladry, passed down from his family, rhythms in his heart. Every new start, every soundtrack moment is backed by the rhythm that rolls relentlessly around these headphones. If you see him without the music, you'll be seeing him go home. Pick him up quicker than blood diamonds or a new iPhone, and there's no difference in that symbolism shown. Those two examples of humanitarian disaster and consumerist horror show are in fact homophones. But even so, he doesn't know, so on he'll go in his own zone, with these speaker boxes translating digital codes of ones and zeros into audible flows, all the while his confidence rose. Meanwhile, he's really taken a stroll and taken it slow. And now he's getting whimsical about how much as a world culture we've grown. I'm not going to stand for this. I'm not going to stand for it. Spare me a bone, throw me a drone. Just don't drone on and on your congratulatory tone. There was a time limit to him keeping calm and struggling on, and it was long gone. He still might wish he could spit threes in perfect threes with effortless breath in the middle of multi-syllable rhymes and all in double time, too true. But even then, he still inwardly doubt what he's all about, even if he would seem to have the clout he sees himself as being without. Because this internal measure of contentedness was subordinate to how the world judged his success. And that was blocking his moves in the daily game of chess that placed his life, liberty, love and the pursuit of happiness under stress. Yes, he wasn't fighting yet. But when he started to shift his motion, his style was as fluid as the motion of Bruce Lee, ever changing like the sea. His own opinions, intelligence and memory flowing quicker than a freestyle MC on a high-grade beat. Best believe he didn't think life could still hand him defeats. He was still struggling. It wasn't only miraculous epiphanies shown. He could never think of what to say, but now things are different. He says he couldn't talk to people feeling far and distant. He says he thought his social skills were sorely above deficient, but now he knows his lust for life and love have just become dependent on different judgments and transactions, no longer easily molded by people's worldly actions. And he thought this to himself in a voice that only he could hear. And he heard himself talk to himself without vibrations ringing in his ears. Man, isn't that weird? Entirely without sound, creation surrounds, confounds and inspires, from the grassroots to the spires. Whether you're changing tides or prefer to be addressed as Lord Esquire, you can fan your own flame and ignite your own fire, become your own favourite rhymer because it's all inside you. And I tried to convey this to him, but he was still concerned with saving face, constructing his little niche, securing his safe base and keeping trace of his life in separate factions. But how could he stay focused when sorting out his life was a daily distraction? Whoa. In his heart, he knows he's a mighty force. He recreated himself as a god riding a stallion into battle. Apocalyptic equestrian jockeying for control of conquest, famine, death and war, banging down on bed and board, hoping that he startles people when he asks, what are you living for? What are you writing for? What's your life source? And I told him there's no shortcut to the heart of that issue. It's a bit like playing Matador. Pose strong, face the horn beast head on, launch into the fight headlong, keep on keeping on. Try not to get gored. Take your self-confidence from whatever questionable source. Fake it till you make it if you must. Don't complicate it. Investigate then recalibrate the limits of your abilities. In everything you do there are slices of wholly lost mysteries. Epics of balladry and epics of humanity. Epics like you and me. Epic like the air we breathe. I hold your humanity, your love and your light close to me. And at least that's what I told him. Not sure if it was the right thing, but it's the very energy of that artistry that sweeps me along on a nightly breeze. Through failing light and warming tea, it shocks, enlightens and obsesses me. And you can see it when you feel it. That sought after ability to intimately exchange experience, in my case simply, relies upon the artist still being in some sense smitten with his own writtens. I believe in this imaginative artistic description. It will liberate us from our private prisons of perception. We can go on into the daily struggle song, and on marked by time's constant gongs, but in the telling of stories we are forced to be humble. And hopefully you understand that's why I write. I feel the universal rumble, and that's why I act.